So one of the first things I do is I compare it with size-wise. This is my Ontario Rat 1. As you can see, blades length, the cutting edge length, very much the same. They're both D2 steel. At least I've got a D2 model here. The base models of the Rat are AUS 8, AUS 8. So the handle is a little shorter on the CJRB than the Rat 2, Rat 1, but totally enough handle. So if you've got big hands, this knife will do. My hands are between large and extra large in Western sizes, and the knife handle sticks out a bit. That's between 10 and 11 in European sizes. We've got very good action on this knife. I've flipped it so many times. The very first time I flipped it, you might have seen it in the unboxing video, my finger slipped right off. And to be honest with you, that's one of the biggest cons on this knife, but it's not a big con. It's biggest con, but not big. And that is the flipper tab is all rounded here, and there's no jimping on it. And until you get used to it, your finger's going to do this quite often. Your finger's going to slide off of it. You have to make sure you get on that side and, pull that light switch. You can push down a bit and get it that way, the push button method, but you got to get it just right for that to work. It won't take long to get used to that though. Now, what else do we have? Open pillar construction. The G10 has got a rounded surface to it. It's not flat. And then they got these lines milled into it. Very grippy without being excessively grippy. So very secure in the hand without any jimping anywhere. I never even come close to dropping it. The grip works very well. Just about any kind of grip you want to hold it with is very, very comfortable. We've got pocket clip that's deep carry, right and left friendly. Huge lanyard hole. You can put, 1200 paracord in there, 1100 paracord. Paracord doesn't just come in 550 sizes. They come in much, much higher sizes as well, and in tinier sizes too. The screws are recessed into the body so they don't stick out, except for the two that are on the pocket clip, but they're fairly small. So I haven't had a problem with these. The pants pocket, the knife always bottoms all the way down in my pants pocket. I haven't had it hang up on those screws yet. Hour shaped glass body pins. There's no skeletonizing on this. Makes it super easy to clean the inside when you need to. Your Q-tip or your whatever you use to swab that out doesn't stick in there. Lockup is perfect, exactly where I want a new knife to be. Blade alignment just slightly off to this side, the side of the pocket clip. At least mine is, but very, very minor. Not even close to touching the edges there. The stop pin is a nice, good, big stop pin. Action is great. The detent is perfect. The ceramic ball bearings have great action. The ceramic detent holds onto the knife. I tried doing the thing where you hold the handle and you whip down and suddenly stop to try to make the blade come out. The Canadian customs agencies call that a centrifugal knife, if you can do that and make the blade deploy. I couldn't get this thing to do it, and I've gotten very good at doing that. There is a bit of a trick to it, and I just was not able to do that. I had a whole package of knives taken away from them. It was like over a dozen knives, I think, and they marked them all as centrifugal knives as the reason why I couldn't have them. And I know for sure that not all of them are able to open by a whack like that, but those guys do whatever they want to do. But I ordered this from White Mountain Knives, and it got here in very short order. And Justin over there, he ships the knives under a personal name instead of under a business name, and that's why they almost always come through. And I haven't had any of my packages from White Mountain Knives taken by the government yet, and hopefully that'll never happen. We've got Torx screws here. We've got D2 steel. We've got a high saber grind. We've got a funky swedge here. And so we've got a sort of a recurve spine, and then the blade comes down, and then there's another angle, comes down a little bit more. So the point is very good for doing delicate work. And then this is all belly, but it's just a slow radius belly, or small, or actually no, a large radius belly, which means it's just a slight arc. Forward choil, beautiful, beautiful knife. And now I got to go see what Bandit's up to, and then we'll come back to the measurements. Okay, those of you who are familiar with my channel know that this measuring tape will sit here until I'm done talking about the specs. The weight is 139 grams, 4.9 ounces. Now, the specs on the Artisan Cutlery's website, who owns CJRB, CJRB is their budget line, says that it's 150 grams and 5.3 ounces. So I double-checked my scale and I triple-checked my scale, and no, my measurements are correct. So yes, this is a little bit less weight than they say on their specs. I like that. Under 5 ounces, not bad. They could have made it even lighter, but hey, 5 ounces, I've got no problem with that. The cutting edge sharpness, 110 best. Very, very good. Nice and sharp from the factory. The cutting edge length, 8.5 centimeters, 3.35 inches. Blade length, so tip to the closest spot on the handle, 8.9 centimeters, 3.5 inches. The blade thickness is 3.12 millimeters, which is 0.123 inches, so 0.002 shy of 1/8 of an inch, so basically 1/8 of an inch thick. The blade depth, its biggest right there, and that is 2.8 centimeters, 1.1 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.47 millimeters, which is 0.0185 inches. And 0.5 millimeter, 0.5 millimeters is what I consider very good for an EDC. So this is slightly thinner, even better, unless you get way too thin, but great. The grind angle, kind of odd. 16.8 degrees here, 19.6 degrees here, and the angle varies a little bit. There was a grinding wheel, say there's a wheel turning right at you right here, and it's coming across. It's like the guy was doing this while he was sharpening, of course, to a much less degree than this. Just a little bit of waving while he's going across, or she. Not a big problem at all. It's sharp, and once it gets dull, I'll sharpen it to probably, with D2, I don't know, probably about 18 degrees per side. 20 degrees per side is the general rule of thumb for EDC knives. But I'm making a video, and when I was researching for the video talking about sharpness and edge retention, I've changed some of my thoughts a little bit on sharpness and what that stuff means. So you want to be watching that video once it comes out. I'm not sure when it'll be ready because I'm still learning things. Yeah, I've been a knife lover my entire life. Well, not when I was 1 year old, but since I was what we now call tweens. I've been a knife lover, since I was 12, 13 years old. And I've had knives all the time, and I'm learning stuff still. So, hey, we can all learn stuff all the time, can't we? Let's talk about the handle now. The handle length is 12 centimeters, 4.72 inches. The grip area is about 9.5 centimeters, 3 3/4 inches. The handle thickness, 1.5 centimeters, that's 0.59 of an inch. But with that rounded handle shape, it's very comfortable in the hand for that size. The handle depth, its biggest right here at the end of the handle, 2.7 centimeters, 1.06 inches. When the knife is closed, the biggest spot is here, 4.1 centimeters, 1.61 inches. And the total length of the blade, when the whole knife, when the blade is deployed, is 20.9 centimeters, which is 8.27 inches. That is some good specs. I really, really appreciate this knife. Now, some of the pros and cons that I haven't mentioned yet. Look at the access to the liner lock release right there. Very good access. You've got, almost 1/8 of an inch. No, actually, it's a little less than that, but a couple millimeters of steel that you can get your thumb onto to push it aside and be able to close the knife. When it is aside, it's just totally loose, totally free to fall. And yet, even with it loose, there's no blade play side to side. There's no blade play even when the liner lock is completely loose. Those ball bearings are very, very nice. We've got no jimping anywhere, unless you want to call this on the handle here jimping. And it's not needed because the handle is so grippy. If you find this handle too grippy, you can just take some really fine sandpaper and just gently rub it across here. Take it all apart first, so you've only got the G10 in your hands. Just lightly sand it. Now, the dust from G10 is not good for your health. So do it outside with the wind at your back, and hopefully with a little bit of a face mask of some sort. You know, the better for your health. The pocket clip is right and left, deep, deep carry. Let me demonstrate how it goes right to the bottom. So you put the knife in your pocket, and this little lip, the pocket climbs over that easily and goes right to the very bottom. And then all you've got is, you know, just a tiny bit that you can see there. If they stonewash the pocket clip, and I wish more companies would stonewash pocket clips, you know, then it would not be quite as reflective. That would be really nice. They stonewashed the blade, so that's why I wish they would stonewash the pocket clip. Let me just read over my pros and cons in case I missed something. Perfectly grippy handle, deep pocket clip, right and left, minimal branding. See how small the branding is there? And then on this side, you've got the model number, the steel type, and in very, very tiny letters, it says China right there. So that's good. There's no sharp edges on the handle, no hot spots. It's well-rounded, very comfortable. Ceramic ball bearings and detent. What are the cons? Well, it's that slippery flipper, and then it's got a hole in it. Now, if this flipper didn't have a hole in it, then I would be more than happy to make that flipper tab smaller, and I'd grind it on a bit of an angle, and I'd use a Dremel just to put a little bit of jimping in it, and then my finger would never slip off of it. Right now, since there's a hole in it, what I might do is put a little bit of jimping in there using my Dremel. That's a rotary tool. Most people know what Dremel is. Just to give that a little grip, because it's a little too slippery, and some jimping in there would make it quite a bit better. Is there any other cons? No, there's no other cons. Some people might like some skeletonizing to make it even lighter, but it's not super heavy. Let me show you the insides of the knife now. And here's the bonus info that most reviewers don't include on a regular review. We do have a pivot pin that's got a flat side on it, so it doesn't spin freely. I wish they would have not put a Torx head on here. Novice knife guys sometimes end up putting their tool on that side, and then they end up stripping that hole because it can't turn and they pull really hard. So I would like that side just to be nice and smooth like some other brands do. So that'd be a good thing to change, but it's not a big deal at all. And here's a close-up of the ball bearings and detent. And as you can see, there's no skeletonizing on here, just stonewashed, very easy to clean with a cotton swab. They could do skeletonizing, help it be a little lighter, but it's not super heavy by any stretch of the imagination the way it is. So yeah, it's a well-built knife for a good price. A pretty thick stop pin too, thicker than a lot of knives are. So back to the rest of the video. So as you can tell, this is a great knife. I love it. And I'm going to be ordering more CJRB knives. I've got one other one, the Taiga, T-A-I-G-A, I think it's spelled. So I'll be reviewing that. That one comes in the blue-gray G10. This one comes in, well, both of them, both those knives come in this green, that blue-gray G10, or black, or carbon fiber laminate. So if you're interested in one of these, please do go to White Mountain Knives. I haven't been able to find any of these CJRB knives on Amazon in any country, and I haven't found this outside of North America. So basically, I would suggest White Mountain Knives. They've got the best price. 10% off with my coupon code CCE for Canadian Cutting Edge. The regular price is $39.99. With 10% off, it's $35.99. That's US. The carbon fiber one is $43.99, which with the discount is $39.59. Now, the discounted price converted into Canadian for the $39.99 version is about $47.40 Canadian, about 32.3 euros, just a bit under 28 British pounds. Now, I know in Europe they've got lots of taxes and the prices are higher too, but I haven't found any stores there, like I said. If you know of other places where you can get these knives, especially if you're in Europe or anywhere outside of North America, please let me know. And it's best if you email me at canadiancuttingedge@gmail.com, and I will update the description section down below. I've got a link to White Mountain Knives to this knife so you can find it easily. But if you don't want to use that link, at least use the coupon code CCE for whatever you buy at White Mountain Knives. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb. Bye for now.